Disclaimer, this podcast discusses mental health. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you're struggling with your mental health, please remember it's okay to ask for help and seek the appropriate help through a qualified healthcare professional. Welcome back to the podcast where we ask the question, what makes you happy? My name is Jake Pearson, and today we have with us a publisher and coach who helps people get their life stories and knowledge out of their heads and into professionally presented, easy to read books to grow their brand and business. We have Susan Dean from Mount Macedon, Victoria, Australia. Susan, how are you?
Fantastic. Thanks for having me.
I'm super excited to hear all things that make you happy. Could you share with us what does make you happy, Susan?
What makes me happy, I think, is family. Like I love being around my daughters, and I've been an empty nester for a while. They've both moved out, but without even knowing it, I created such an amazing business that they wanted to come work within the business, and now it's turned to a family business. So the awesome thing is I get to hang out with them every day, and I don't have to do their cooking and washing. How awesome is that?
That is an absolute bonus, and I'm sure my mum would jump at that opportunity.
So I get to hang out with them, and one of my daughters has given me a gorgeous granddaughter, and I have a grandson on the way. So, they light up my life, and we've even got a cot in one of the offices so that when my granddaughter comes along, she's got somewhere to sleep and then come out and annoy all the workers that she runs in and out the offices saying her hello to.
So as a publisher, and I guess as a coach, for our audience who may be struggling to find happiness in their lives, what would you suggest?
I don't look at work-life balance. I look at work-life flow. And I think that when you love what you do, like I love watching people's businesses grow. I love helping them get all their knowledge out of their head into a book that helps people understand who they are, but also, how they get to know them and see if they're the person that they might want to learn from or, grow from. So work-life flow to me is about how do we do everything we love, but get everything that we love in life so that we're all flowing. So what I think is really important for the listeners to know is do what you're passionate about. Whether that be you're working for another business that you're passionate about, whether it's starting your own business that you're passionate about, but incorporate everything into that, whether that be music in the background, whether it be a dog sitting at the foot of your, build your life to be a work-life flow than have this such segregated, because then you're happy kind of all the time. You're happy what you're doing, but you kind of multitasking, like I'll be cooking dinner and listening to a podcast. I might be working, but I've got my kids in the next room. I'm, helping people write their stories, but I'm learning from them as well. So I feel like I've got this secret to life where I'm doing what I love and I love what I'm doing, but I've kind of incorporated all my loves into this, work-life flow.
It's really about integrating what makes you happy as a person to the listeners and to Susan as well into your day-to-day. Don't just do it when you come home. Try to find things that make you happy at work and things that make you happy when you're out and about, because that's going to improve your overall happiness throughout the day. And it's going to connect your day better rather than, I've got to go to work, it's going to be miserable, then I'll be happy when I come home. Find ways to build that into your day is basically that work-life flow. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and just like I've got, on my desk, some great little photographs, they make me happy. Family makes me happy. So when I'm working, I've got a picture of my family there. Have some little anchors around the house, whether that be music in the background because you love listening to those old bands. Have little photos around, things that make you happy. So while you're doing whatever it might doing, if I'm sitting there doing some work, like maybe going through some accounts that are a bit boring, I know that I'm, also incorporating some things that make me happy in that, whether that be a photo, whether that be a bit of music in the background. So I think it's about just incorporating all the things that make you happy throughout your work and life so that it's just flowing with lots of little happiness all along the way.
Susan, I couldn't agree more. Beautifully said. And look, thank you so much for coming here to share all things that make you happy. We've really appreciated your time.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. We hope it gives you something to think about on your quest to discover what makes you happy. Make sure to check out whatmakesyouhappypodcast.com to connect with today's guest and follow us on all our social media platforms and to stay up to date at what's happening next at What Makes You Happy. Don't forget to share this episode with a friend, and we'll see you next time.